It's the Green and Gold Gridiron finale for the season. 22 weeks in, we've seen the Super Bowl, and we're back at it for one more week. Brian Groff, Keith Roding from PackerReport.com. Jenny Ritchie will join us in just a bit, as well as our special guest. And there's a connection between Jenny and our guest that I have honestly never talked about in a sports show. We'll get to all that in just a few moments. But first, the big headlines from the past week. Number one, there's a Super Bowl champion. Peyton Manning goes out, maybe, on top if he doesn't come back. His arm certainly looked like it wasn't ready to come back.
He might have retired during the game.
And the other one was that Brett Favre was officially elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Really, no question about that. So where do you want to start? Brett Favre or Peyton Manning, the man who passed Brett Favre with his 200th win?
Oh, man, let's say this. If you're going to pass a guy like Brett Favre with that as your signature win, I mean, we're talking about two guys who, at the late stage of their career, that 39, 40-year age, could not be more different. I mean, Favre at age 40 had one of the best statistical years of his entire career. Peyton Manning, I mean, 13 for 23, 141 yards, interception, a fumble. It might have been the worst performance by a Super Bowl winning quarterback in 50 years. I mean, his place among the NFL's elite was secure, but, you know, I think he's probably the third best quarterback behind Brady and Montana, whether he won the Super Bowl, lost, or got to that game. But it was all defense, and man, oh man, if you love football, you love watching the defenses in that game.
Other people would call it boring. Other people would say, I love the defense.
People that didn't know, I don't know.
Peyton Manning went through some of the things that Brett Favre didn't. Obviously, Favre known as the Iron Man of football, but Peyton Manning, with the time that he missed, for him to come back, it looked rough.
Impressive.
The ball wasn't coming out. He never had the strongest arm in the world.
No.
He makes up for a lot of that with the brains and understanding what he's seeing with the defense. I thought it was fantastic. Jenny and I picked the Broncos to win, and mostly I felt that I wanted to see Peyton Manning win. And now the question remains as whether he will come back. But you were pretty impressed with Brett Favre's beard, and he's already being sized up for the bust that will go into Canton, Ohio.
Yes, I don't think the bust will have the beard. I think is, you know, I heard a lot of Santa comments, but you know, you got to love it. Brett's out there. He's doing the pregame circuit before the Super Bowl. Of course, you know, good old Brett, T-shirt, you know, wearing his Wranglers. He's got the beard. Pretty much looked like he had nowhere in particular to be talking about the game. But, you know, he's really the guy that Hall of Fame class. He's that marquee name that everything's built around. So, you know, everybody knew it was coming, and I can't wait to go down to Canton and see the enshrinement and see the Packers playing that game.
And the other Packers connection, Kevin Green, who had coached for the Green Bay Packers, played with the Carolina Panthers.
The guy who hit Favre and had Favre puking up on the sidelines on that Christmas Eve game, and then he goes in and throws a touchdown. So one of my favorites.
Now they're going to the Hall of Fame together. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, that's a long ways away. It has to warm up around here first.
Oh, my gosh.
And then we can think about the Hall of Fame game and everything that goes in.
I know. Well, you know, we got free agency, and I think the Super Bowl too. It showed a vastly different way to build a champion than what we're used to Ted Thompson doing. You know, John Elway, of course, is the general manager there. You know, that defense. They had Aqib Talib, they had Ward at safety, they had DeMarcus Ware, and man, Ware and Miller come down on those corners. But he went out. He saw a limited window with Peyton Manning again, who 3 years ago was in the Super Bowl after a 55-touchdown season. So very different Peyton Manning. But again, it's defense that wins it, much like 3 years ago with Seattle pounding Denver 43-8. You know, this year it's defense winning it. So let's add some players.
Yeah, and that's the NFL season, and you know, a lot of fans around the Wisconsin area, central Wisconsin, heading to the Central Wisconsin Convention and Expo Center to meet some professional athletes. Jenny Finch on Friday night.
I wish I got to
go there for that one.
Yes,
emceeing the evening's activities, got to introduce her to the crowd there. Fantastic. A steady stream of autograph seekers coming through there. There is talk of possibly getting her to come back when it's nice out, so she could do a softball clinic.
Like that. She'd be great doing a clinic.
That would be great. And then on Saturday, one of our G3 guests from earlier this year was there, John Crockett, and you had a chance to visit with him.
Yeah, you know, I think we'd agree. One of our favorite guests from during the year. You know, just a great kid, great attitude, great energy, ton of enthusiasm. He was at the Midwest Athletic Expo on Saturday. I was there with my son Cole, and we had a chance to catch up with him and find out what he's up to this offseason and getting his reflections on the Packers season that just ended.
I'm going to be in Minnesota for a little bit, like I said, with the friends and family, and then I'm going to go to Miami and be with some more friends and family, then I'm going to start training. But, you know, at the end of the day, you got to go work hard in the offseason and get ready for the next year.
You also had a chance to talk with Mark Mayfield, Mayfield Sports, and he's been someone you in particular have really worked closely with him, us as a television show. Grateful for him and all the connections that he's had to help us book some of the guests we've had this year.
Yeah, Mark's been a great partner, and we got to know him during the year, lining up our current Packer players as well as Super Bowl 31 guys like Santana Dotson and Dorsey Levens. So he was there with his adorable daughter Emily, and we got a chance to catch up with him and get his background. He's a guy Indiana guy, as it turns out, and a Bears fan of all things. Chance meeting with Gilbert Brown a few years back, set up a website for Big Gil, the Gravedigger, and from there set up his own sports marketing company, Mayfield Sports Marketing, booking guys for charity events, different appearances, and certainly television shows like Green and Gold Gridiron. But he really works to find the right guest who's the right match for an event. And again, I think John Crockett for this event here as a Midwest guy, North Dakota State, was a good match. Yeah,
a great crowd and a great event. So looking forward to seeing that happening again in the future. Time for us to introduce the third member of our G3 team, Jenny Ritchie. We talk about the connection with Ethan Hemer.
Yes.
Honestly,
yes, it's
never seen this connection. Give
it's
us
not as weird as you all are thinking. We're both from funeral home families. My dad owns a funeral home, and then his parents are in the funeral home business as well. So we have that coming up.
So we're going to hear about that.
We're going to hear about that because I rarely get a chance to talk to another
unique.
Kindred spirit like that, so it's nice.
That's why we wanted to make sure that...
Was Spirit a kindred spirit?
We saved this for the finale, exactly.
We did, yeah.
Once again, people, spirit.
Keith is here for the humor. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and our special guest, former Badgers defensive lineman and a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ethan Hemer, after this.
Brought to you in part by Hermanning Financial Group.
Hermanning Financial Group strives to help you and your family reach your financial goals while demonstrating their core values of integrity, independence, and innovation. With offices in Wausau, Stevens Point, Manitowoc, and Wisconsin Rapids, proudly supporting the Boys and Girls Club.
It's 3 p.m. For 50 million kids across America, school's out. And for a third of these kids, they're out on their own, out with nowhere to go and nothing to do. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Do you like to walk?
Do you want to live longer?
You will love square dancing.
Friends you meet for life.
Marvelous people.
Like I said, meet people. I love it.
Love it.
I love square dancing.
The fun, the family.
Great variety of music.
The camaraderie.
Too young?
It's fun.
Try it, you like it. Call 715-544-7969. Visit WisconsinSquareDancing.com for more information. First lesson free, singles and couples welcome.
When disaster strikes, water, fire, storm damage, and even mold, we take care of them all. Anytime, day or night, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Quality service and customer satisfaction are top priorities. Tell your insurance company you prefer North Star Cleaning and Restoration.
And remember, don't just get it clean, get it North Star Clean.
NorthstarCleaning.net.
Welcome back to Green and Gold Gridiron. Brian Graff, Keith Rodink, and time for us to introduce our special guest. And this is someone that I've known going back to his high school career at Medford. He started his collegiate football career as a walk-on at the University of Wisconsin, eventually earning a scholarship and starting on 3 straight Rose Bowl teams. And then he signed as an undrafted free agent with the Pittsburgh Steelers, spending some time there on their practice squad. It's our pleasure to introduce Ethan Hemer. Ethan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing, Ethan?
There's so many things that I know about you and your background. I felt the need to just spit it all out at one moment. But let's talk about first what you're doing now. I mentioned that you spent some time with the Steelers on the practice squad. You are currently looking to continue playing in the National Football League. Where are you at now, and what kind of things are you doing to achieve that goal?
Well, a couple weeks ago I had a workout with Green Bay, which went well, but unfortunately they said that I wasn't quite what they were looking for at this time. So, that was unfortunate to hear, but it was good to have another workout. Hopefully something more will come in the next few weeks. I got some time. It's not like there's any real hurry to sign with a team at this moment, but hopefully something will happen. And if not, I know that Canada is an option, and I wouldn't be opposed to going up to the CFL for a year just to keep playing, get some fresh film, and then try and come back. But I think the big thing for me is I'll know when it's time to hang it up and I feel like I can play the sport a little bit longer, and I love to play, so I'm going to keep chasing the dream.
Now, Ethan, tell us a little bit about the mentality you have to have. I mean, you signed with Pittsburgh as a free agent, but they signed you 3 times. You also get released 3 times. How is that? How do you kind of deal with that? They love me not sort of life with the NFL and trying to catch on.
Well, I've learned a lot in the last couple of years, just how much of a business the league is, and how it's very difficult for players to feel loyalty to teams just because how much changing happens just in a regular season. When I was there, there'd be every other week there'd be new guys coming in and out of the locker room, which and I don't think a lot of people realize how many roster changes happen. I guess the way you approach that is you take advantage of every day that you have in the locker room and know that a lot of people wish they could be in there, and just to experience that for a couple of days is pretty awesome. So you enjoy it and you take it one day at a time, and you recognize it for what it is.
Is it that you get that euphoria though when you get that call back, or is it a little bit of cautious optimism because again you can't feel too secure?
I think you're definitely very excited when you get a call back, but you also know how quickly things can change. A lot of times by no fault of your own, it's just the team needs to make a move, and unfortunately, however the numbers stack out, you could be the guy that gets let go. And I think that you're excited and you're happy to be playing again, but I think you're right. You're cautiously optimistic about it.
Ethan, could you take us inside that experience with the Steelers? Was there ever a time where you just kind of looked around and thought, wow, I'm with an NFL team?
The biggest wow was the first preseason game we played in at MetLife in New Jersey. It was the first time that you got an NFL jersey and you look at it and there's your name on the back with your number, and to see that was a big wow moment for me. Just thinking, like, yeah, I'm here. I'm a part of what this machine is, and I get to be a part of football at the highest level.
And the Packers fans and Steelers fans, traditionally they travel the best. How would you rate them? You've been around Wisconsin fans for a long time. How would you rate those franchises and the people that follow them?
I'd say they're very similar. I remember growing up going to Packers training camp and seeing how many people would come, and realizing how really cool that was. But when you go to Pittsburgh, they have camp at this little school that's to the east called St. Vincent. It's in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And these people travel from everywhere to come see it. It'll be 100 degrees out, and there'll be people lined up everywhere to watch. And I've only had an experience with that, so it didn't really resonate as much with me seeing that many people. It was neat to see, but talking to guys that had played at other organizations in better cities, there aren't a lot of teams that have that kind of support, especially that early in the season with training camps. So that's when you really realize how special it is to have that kind of fan support.
And playing in those 3 Rose Bowls, what a collection of talent on those teams. We could list the guys like you played with J.J. Watt and Chris Borland and Jared Abbrederis, a fellow walk-on as well. So you really, even though you weren't in the NFL, you were playing with NFL caliber players going back to your collegiate career.
Yes, I was. It was part of when I look back and think of all the talent and the teams that I was a part of, it was really a special time for Wisconsin football and the whole state to be able to watch that. It was always hard to come back home sometimes because everyone would say like, oh, how is this guy, or what's this guy like? And it's not until years later that I realized how special these groups were and how much talent we really had in those games.
Now, your younger brother Ben is still playing for the Badgers, so are you talking to him a lot about just your experiences? And I mean, I would think it would make for some you get some pretty spirited one-on-ones when you guys get together. Are you lining up nose to nose in the backyard?
So Ben has this thing where he's an offensive lineman, so whenever we're together, if I'm back home and walking through the house, he'll like pass set me, walk next.
Like when you guys are in the hallway?
Yeah.
Like you're coming down the hallway? And
Out in the kitchen or something, he'll walk next to me and drop into a pass set and like punch me in my chest. Like,
see, I love that. I was hoping you would
good.
say that. That's how it should be.
And I just look like, what are you doing? And he's laughing, and it's just kind of a sibling thing that we have. But I think that whatever advice I've been able to give Ben, I have. But I think that what's cool about Ben is he's really walking his own path now, and he's enjoying everything that comes with being a football player at a big time university. But he's doing well in school and hoping to compete for playing time this year. And if he takes care of business, I really hope that he can get that opportunity.
Now he's the little brother, so you giving him a club move or a little swim in the hall?
Growing up, we never really played on the same teams. We had too much space in between us. But my senior year, he was on the scout team, so I took it to him pretty good in those practices.
What about in the hallway, though?
What's that?
I said, what about in the hallway? Are you still taking it to him?
Not like I'm too old for that now. I don't mess around like that. He's still young. He's full of energy, so I'll let him, think he can take me for a little while longer.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I love Benny. I love the experiences that he's going through now. It's really fun, and getting to watch him grow and develop as a football player and as a man.
Ethan Hemer is our special guest, the Medford native and former Badgers standout defensive lineman. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll bring in Jenny with our Titletown topics.
Hi, I'm Joan London. When I needed to find senior care for my mom, I really struggled to find the right fit. That's why I recommend A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. They have advisors that can help you find the right senior care at no cost to you. There's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, call 800-452-3594.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers' high rate and high pay are everywhere.
They're making another minimum payment. Great. Most of the money goes to us.
One call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your neck.
They lower his rates and consolidate his bills into one low payment. Consolidated Credit drives us batty.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
'Cause debt sucks.
Call 800-320-1579. That's 800-320-1579.
Things break all the time, and glue never works. What you need is Laser Bond USA, the amazing liquid plastic that fixes virtually anything in as little as 3 seconds. Laser Bond is not a glue, but a unique liquid plastic that only hardens with the UV light. Now fill in plumbing leaks in 3 seconds or less. Instantly repair kids' toys and keep playtime flying. The magic of powerful liquid plastic that hardens under ultraviolet light. The best part, the adhesive is made in the USA.
Wow, that is fast.
It bends, it's flexible.
If you mess up applying, just wipe clean. No sticky residue. Call now to get Laser Bond USA for just $19.99 and receive this protective carry case free. But wait, we're gonna double the offer absolutely free and ship your order free. Call now.
Call 1-800-504-3045 to get your Laser Bond USA. Call now or go to laserbondusa.com. So call 1-800-504-3045. Call now.
We are back with Green and Gold Gridiron, Brian, Keith, and Jenny, and our special guest, Ethan Hemer. Let's turn it over to Jenny Ritchie for our Titletown topics.
All right, so you played hockey growing up, which is pretty exciting, and you refereed in college. So what is the main takeaway that you take from hockey and translate into football? Is there any takeaway? I mean, I know you're not on skates, so that's already a completely different scenario, but what do you take from one sport to the other?
That was actually really attractive for me, being a recruit in high school, as these coaches would say, well, you're 6'5", 250 pounds, and they put you on skates. That's pretty neat. That's pretty unique. I think the biggest things that I took away from that was just feet, like having quick feet and being able to change direction and transition in space. That's something I definitely learned from hockey. But then just also being in shape, being able to push yourself really hard, catch your breath and then go again. And we didn't have many kids on the team, so there was a lot of ice time. I've realized now that oxygen is so important for being able to play. And that was something that I skated a lot when I was on the team, and that definitely helped me.
So the football coaches were okay with you playing? Because if I remember, you played hockey all the way through your senior year of high school.
I did. Some of them were like, I don't know if you should do that. And other ones said, yeah, definitely keep playing. And I had asked to get their opinion on it. That wasn't a deciding factor or anything, but just sometimes coaches will want players to shy away from it. But I was a 3-sport athlete all through high school, and that was very attractive for coaches to see that. And most of them that I had talked to told me to keep playing.
Now, with the refereeing, are you a little more sympathetic when you get a bad call in a game?
Oh, it's such a hard job. It is such a hard job to be a ref, and you develop you learn how to take a lot of grief, and it takes a very special person to be able to keep your cool when coaches are yelling at you and parents that don't have any idea are yelling at you. And, but you learn and you adapt and you get better, and I'm very thankful that I did do that. It was hard, but I'm glad I did it.
It helps when you're your size and you're reffing. You're not going to get as many people yelling at you.
Yeah, I did. Sometimes I just have to give these coaches a look, and they
I would think so.
I could see that.
Oh, boy. All right, well, moving on. So your parents, Jeff and Kathy, who we've discussed, are lovely people. So they drove to most of your college games. That included 3 in Pasadena. So how many miles do you estimate that they put on their vehicle? Because that's a lot of wear and tear on a vehicle just to watch you run back and forth.
Well, they actually flew out to Pasadena. They weren't crazy enough to do that.
There we go.
Okay. I mean, they still they drove all over, from Iowa City, Twin Cities to, as far over as Columbus. I think they drove to Penn State. I mean, that's a lot of miles to put on over a 4-year career. So I couldn't even begin to estimate. But I mean, it's a lot. It's enough to get a couple of oil changes out of it. That's for sure.
And they do the same for your brother as well? Or did they like you more? Okay.
Fortunately, hasn't traveled yet this year, but when he starts traveling, I have no doubt that they'll make those trips.
Excellent. All right. Well, the last question, the key question. Brian's been so excited about the connection we have about funeral homes this entire week. He's been super excited. So I know, being like a kid of a funeral home person, that I get a lot of really weird questions. What's the weirdest question that you've got about your parents, like about the funeral home, or the funeral business?
Well, gosh, this is a good question. This is not what I was expecting.
See? That's what I'm here for, just throwing you off.
I mean, people ask all sorts of questions about the embalming process and things like that. But I remember one player asking me if my dad makes people disappear.
I had that too. My sorority sister was for 2 years.
You're like, is he the guy to know? And he'd laugh, but I'd look at him straight in the face and say, "Who do you need taken care of?"
Yeah.
But, we joke around with stuff like that. Obviously.
There's a lot of jokes that go around with funeral homes. Like, we put the fun in funeral. That's a good one. People say that one a lot.
Yes, that is something I've heard.
Yes.
What's sleeping in caskets? You ever sleep in a casket?
I've never slept in a casket.
You ever slept in a casket?
Ask me that too.
You know how expensive caskets are, though? Like, those are expensive. You don't want to wreck those.
Cool looking too. There's a lot of pillows in that.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of pillows. It's
so
very
wait.
soft.
So yes or no?
No.
All right.
See, all the questions are coming.
And that was the last Titletown topic question. I figured we'd end up going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we figured otherwise.
Because we've had a lot of conversations on
I have a whole list of questions about funeral homes, but I'm not going to get to
Keith likes to grill me during the commercial breaks.
All right.
Ethan Hemer, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. We really had a good time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back after this.
When disaster strikes, water, fire, storm damage, and even mold, we take care of them all. Anytime, day or night, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Quality service and customer satisfaction are top priorities. Tell your insurance company you prefer North Star Cleaning and Restoration.
And remember, don't just get it clean, get it North Star clean.
NorthstarCleaning.net.
Hermiting Financial Group strives to help you and your family reach your financial goals while demonstrating their core values of integrity, independence, and innovation. With offices in Wausau, Stevens Point, Manitowoc, and Wisconsin Rapids, proudly supporting the Boys and Girls Club.
It's 3 p.m. For 50 million kids across America, school's out. And for a third of these kids, they're out on their own. Out with nowhere to go and nothing to do. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Do you like to walk?
Do you want to live longer?
You will love square dancing.
Friends you meet for life.
Marvelous people.
I guess I meet people. I love it.
Love it.
I love square dancing.
The fun, the family.
Great variety of music.
The camaraderie.
Too young?
It's fun.
Try it, you like it. Call 715-544-7969. Visit WisconsinSquareDancing.com for more information. First lesson free, singles and couples welcome.
Our final segment of our final show, we made television history with Jenny and Ethan's connections.
That's why they invited me to hang out with them this season. They just knew at some point it would come up.
I love it when you interview someone and they say, I've never been asked that before.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is interview
The
gold.
He was
topic
very
funeral
thrown off by
homes,
that.
so
We had that right there. Our final pick'em standings through 86 games, and I clinched it already prior to the Super Bowl, and I still went with Peyton Manning.
Well, I would
and
like
got
a
that one.
recount.
Keith wants a recount of the last two
I
seasons.
clinched
And
third,
Jenny
though, in case you guys
got
were
to
wondering.
500, 43
I did.
and 43.
I barely did it, but I did it.
That is fantastic.
Can I high
And
five?
that's going to do it for our season. My thanks to Keith and Jenny for being part of this show. Thanks to you for watching. And,
Thanks,
of
Brian.
course, to Ethan Hemer for being our special guest. Have a great week, and thanks for watching all season long.